In July. We just had our Independence Day, if you guys are in America. And, so I started thinking about watermelon. Watermelon is a wonderful fruit, guys, and y'all know that the middle part of my business is whole food health advocacy. So I'm really excited to spend a little bit of time today talking about the wonders of watermelon. So I'm just gonna get right into the intuitive talk and see where it goes from there, guys. I write my notes and I just, oh, hey guys, thanks for hopping on. Just about to get in. So I basically, like I said, I write my notes on this and I just leave the rest up to God, Great Spirit, to guide me through. So here goes. So guys, despite the negative connotations, the historians and cultural commentators emphasize that watermelon, guys, was originally a symbol of freedom and prosperity for Black communities. So it represented resilience and self-sufficiency in the face of systemic oppression. So listen, guys, the watermelon has had an amazing cultural journey. So it's originally from southern Africa, okay, and it's related to the cantaloupe, zucchini, pumpkin, and cucumber. So watermelon is just a dense, nutrient-rich food. It's mostly water and it contains very few calories. And of course, it's so refreshing. That's why we love it all over the world. But it's an excellent dietary source of both, and I'm going to try not to mess up the pronunciation, citrulline and lycopene, which are two powerful plant compounds. So the melon has health benefits, including lowering blood pressure, improves insulin sensitivity, and reduced muscle soreness. And so, watermelons, guys, are just such an excellent fruit. And so going back to the cultural history of it, again, the watermelon, its origins are from Africa, okay? And so it was actually originated in a region in Africa. And let's see, it was cultivated in ancient Egypt over 5,000 years ago, right? I mean, the watermelon has been around. And this is a really cool little not side note, but part of the cultural history, that the European people of West Africa incorporated watermelons in their spiritual practices. And so this is a wonderful way that we can, look at, all vegetables and all fruits as part of this spiritual journey. And I believe that watermelons have so many messages for us. And this is how watermelons actually got to America, is that so this has been reported that those Africans that were enslaved actually took watermelon seeds and put them in their braids in their hair during the Middle Passage to get the seeds over here, because Africans knew of the many benefits of the watermelon. And so, guys, watermelon is enjoyed like all over the world. And it was brought into Europe through Spain in the 13th century by the Moors. What am I thinking here? No surprise there, right? The Moors were very active in their conquering. And then, like I said, it moved over to America in like the 16th and 17th centuries. Guys, I'm not drinking watermelon juice yet, but this is my favorite lemon and maple syrup and cayenne drink that I love. So you should check it out. Okay, so the cultural significance of watermelon. So basically, again, watermelons are eaten and celebrated all over the world. In Japan, they are actually like grown as novelty squares, and they're given as gifts. In China, it's considered a seasonal delicacy. There's actually watermelon festivals in the US. There's the Luling Watermelon Thump in Texas, and a watermelon festival in Indiana, which includes different kinds of eating contests, including a watermelon seed spinning contest, which is really cool. And as a side note, that is the one thing that I ever got a blue ribbon for. My mom used to force me to go to the freaking sports fitness camp when I was a kid. I've never been a sporty person. And I finally won a blue ribbon for an event, and I was so proud of myself. My mom asked me what it was for, and it was for watermelon spitting. So guys, I can spit a good watermelon seed. I'm just saying. And there's festivals. Maybe I need to like travel around and like, you know, kind of refurbish that that skill of mine, watermelon seed spitting. But anyways, okay, so regardless of all of the cultural wonders of the watermelon, in the US, watermelon became associated with African American culture during slavery and Reconstruction. And when freed black farmers began growing watermelon, it actually led to the harmful stereotypes that you guys have probably seen in advertising, and this persisted for decades. And I believe that not only did the energy from these negative advertising campaigns, you know, negatively affect the black community, but the white community as well during this time. I mean, it just really fucked up, you know, our cultural idea of enjoying watermelon, which is so crazy to me how we can take a fruit that is so beneficial and turn it into a negative thing. I mean, freaking diabolical, man. Okay, so let's get into the stereotype. So basically the stereotype of black people eating watermelon, especially in public. So this act of eating watermelon has actually created so much shame within the black community. And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this today is, I mean, this is still happening in the zeitgeist of our shared collective energy, guys. Because I was talking with a friend, it was probably a couple years ago, and he told me that he was still held the energy of embarrassment when eating watermelon or chicken in public because of these smear campaigns, actually, right? And so, how did this crop, guys, that originally was here to nourish us and brought self-sufficiency to black communities, how did it become a racist symbol that degraded blacks as lazy or unclean? Well, guys, I have one word for you guys today, and that is jealousy. Okay? Straight up jealousy. So after the American Civil War, right, the formerly enslaved African Americans began cultivating and sold watermelons as a cash crop throughout the South. And so watermelons became a symbol for liberation, self-reliance, and economic independence. And we're talking like, you know, a decade or two after emancipation. And so my black foremothers and fathers were busy making some monies, right? And that pissed some mofos off, right? And so, you know, it was this public display of autonomy, right, that threatened many white Southerners who viewed this new success from the watermelons as a challenge to their social dominance, okay? And so, white society deliberately transformed this wonderful, nutritious fruit into a derogatory symbol, portraying Black people as lazy, childish, and unclean. Okay, guys, this is a solution-based talk, and so I don't want to spend a lot of time sitting in that energy of jealousy. And why, what I will say is that during Reconstruction and during our horrid years of segregation, that both sides of the divide were affected in just psychologically tormenting and disturbing ways. I will say that our foremothers and fathers on both sides of the divide were totally effing fucked up from this psychological warfare. That's basically all I can say about that. It was funky, it was diabolical, and it was based in the seeds of jealousy. Man, that is some diabolical shit, to try to destroy a people based on jealousy. So guys, getting into the solution, how do we transmute this dark energy that still clings, right? I mean, no one should ever feel shame or embarrassment when eating a fruit that our foremothers and fathers brought here to begin with, So how do we transmute this dark energy? Okay, so this is reconciliation, right? One, we have to look at it for what it is. Okay, so we looked at it. We saw that it's some ugly, nasty jealousy, basically seething up from the energy of separation, right? It is a energy that clings, that makes people believe that if one person has, then they won't have, right? It's a horrible, diabolical energy of jealousy. And so you have to look at it for what it is. And then you have to look at how both sides contributed. Now, this is really hard for a situation where you see that there is a pretty clear delineated line between the victim and the perpetrator, right? And so in a situation like this, and honestly, this is how I have been able to find forgiveness in my heart for a lot of fucked up situations, right? It's not so much about the perpetrator. So in this situation, the Black community during Reconstruction, they were the victims in this situation. And so how can a victim move from being victimized to a place of neutrality where forgiveness can begin to come up, right? Well, what we have to do is realize that yes, this happened, right? And that it was a horrible thing that happened, taking a beautiful fruit and turning, a symbol of self-reliance and diabolically turning it into a symbol of hate, right? That is a horrible thing to do. But what we have to do as the victim is look at, okay, so how did I participate? Well, maybe not at the exact action when it became a propaganda tool, right? But over the years that the watermelon was used in this tool, the victim mindset had been so psychologically conditioned that the victim now believes that they have no choice. That is why you can sit in that energy of shame or embarrassment about a topic that honestly doesn't have anything to do with you, right? And so it is up to the victim to release the energy of shame and embarrassment around this topic. Okay, and so how to do that? Well, I mean, one thing for me is just talking about it. I mean, eating watermelon in public, like proudly, and not letting any of that fucking energy come through. And yeah, so and then what we can do is, again, looking at how both sides contributed, acknowledge the wrongs, and then forgive. And so this is basically the steps of cultural reconciliation, which is the process of mending historical divides between groups, fostering understanding, equality, and mutual respect to build a more just and inclusive society, okay? And so cultural reconciliation can be used for, any type of divide when you're trying to bring people back together. And hey guys, I'm so glad that you're on and that you're listening, and this is what it's all about, guys. And so, the one, like, cultural reconciliation, it involves acknowledging historic injustices. So we have to acknowledge that this watermelon campaign was some fucked up shit, man. I mean, and we have to again acknowledge that it was done out of a place of jealousy, of not understanding, of, being in a place of lack and separation, right? And then we have to go into this state of understanding, right? And so we have to listen. Listen to other people's perspectives, right? And listen to our shared experiences, especially listening to the voices of the victims, right? And so, this is about watermelon. And I mean, it's so, it's still so crazy to me that we have to culturally reconcile a fruit. I mean, really, but we do, guys, because the energy is still out there. And as long as we are entertaining any part of the energy of shame, of embarrassment for doing what we do just naturally, which is eat healthy food, right? Then we need to continue to have these ongoing dialogues, right? And that's what I'm doing now, is engaging in open, honest conversations that can foster empathy, trust, and shared understanding for both sides, guys. Because, I'm not a separatist. I mean, how can I be? I'm like literally straight in the freaking middle. And I believe that the powers that be have wanted to keep us separate for a reason, because guys, we have power in numbers. So we got to get over this fucking shame and guilt over freaking watermelon, right? We got to be able to dialogue about it. I mean, kind of like laugh at it, man. That's a wonderful way to lighten the energy and also to transmute that energy, to take the power away from it, okay? And so healing and empathy is part of that, taking the power away from this energy. It's about addressing the individual and collective trauma, which again, I'm doing. I mean, I know that, if you guys are watching this, you probably know someone that will tell you some embarrassing shit about watermelon, or about how they felt about eating watermelon, or maybe going to a white picnic and having watermelon and being the only black person there and feeling some kind of way when they put it on their plate. That is the energy that we need to dissipate, because the only thing that energy is going to do is to keep us in a state of mental bondage, right? And so healing and empathy, addressing individual and collective traumas around this, right? And then, guys, there has to be institutional transformation. So this is like reframing the legal, educational, economic, and political structures that made this whole idea a reality, because there was a power that decided that they were going to use watermelons as a negative weapon towards the black community. And so we've got to reframe that, right? When I was researching for this talk, I was thinking, okay, so how can we reframe this? Well, one, talking about the beauties of the watermelon, eating the watermelon, being proud to eat the watermelon. And then I was also thinking, and I did not have time to look into this, but the watermelon, I mean, I don't know if there's like watermelon lobbyists, but I know there's fruit lobbyists, but I know that within, all the people that sell watermelon, I mean, there's got to be, if everyone can put together a crazy fucking negative propaganda campaign to bring shame and embarrassment to a community, then we can flip that, right? Transmute that energy and focus on creating positive campaigns that can uplift the idea of cultivating, selling, eating watermelon. Because guys, watermelon is a wonderful fruit that is so good for the body, and it's really cost effective. And guys, it has such a long history in our community, and it's a beautiful history, okay? Because remember, we have to remember the resilience of our forefathers and mothers that used the watermelon, right? That cultivated and sold the watermelon for economic independence. We have to remember that it was our foremothers and fathers that brought the watermelon seed over here from Africa. We have to not let anyone else reframe what watermelon is for us, right? So by releasing that energy and reclaiming our rightful place as watermelon eaters in this world, then we can begin to release that energy of shame, embarrassment, because there is nothing but love when it comes to watermelons, guys. And so, I believe that we are in a state of, I've talked about it a lot, like all this dark shit is coming to the light in order to be healed. And so if I'm talking about a negative propaganda campaign from over 100 years ago, then that means that there's still energy around this topic, guys. And so I implore all of y'all to, not only go out and eat some freaking watermelon, but talk about it, right? Help release the energy around, us being economically stable, right? Because it was just used as a tool to keep us in a place of lack. And guys, it is our Father's pleasure to give us his kingdom, right? And so that means that all the seeds, all the beautiful vegetables and fruits, those are ours. So how dare the powers that be try to use a watermelon against me? Well, I refuse. I will eat watermelon and I will be happy about it, and I will never hold the energy of embarrassment or shame for doing what I know is culturally natural for me. So, guys, thank you so much for letting me, talk about the wonders of watermelon today. And, I am just working on doing my part in helping to transmute some of this funky energy that's still, around. And so I hope that it was helpful, that I gave you guys a little bit of background about this wonderful fruit. And after the talk today, I'm actually going to be making some watermelon juice and watermelon salad on my Patreon account, so y'all can click the link. I didn't put it in the description this time, but it's on my homepage. So if y'all want to hang out with me further and learn how to make some wonderful recipes using this fruit that we are transmuting, we're gonna take all of any kind of funky energy out of it and let the watermelon have its rightful place in the hearts and the bellies of all Americans. So that will be after.
Magic I made, morning sun and open door.